The wildfires ravaging Northern California over the past week have burned tens of thousands of acres of land, torching more than 30 cannabis farms and adding a new wrinkle to the January rollout of the state's regulated cannabis industry. One of the questions that remain is whether the smoke-damaged outdoor cannabis crops will be able to pass mandated state testing, a requirement that is slated to begin in January. Even in past years, we've had wildfires in an area where there's cannabis growing. There was no required testing, said Amanda Raymond, Vice President of Community Relations for Canna, which works with roughly 60 cannabis farms in Northern California, including several that were affected to some degree by the current fires. It's really impossible to know until we start submitting cannabis for testing. We know that smoke can have an impact on the plant, and we're not sure yet how that's going to bear out when it comes to what's required by the state to certify cannabis for resale, Raymond said. We're also starting to brainstorm about what can be done with the cannabis that may have been damaged by smoke that may not be suitable for smoking or vaping. For instance, Raymond said, it's possible still that smoke-damaged cannabis that may not be able to be sold as raw flower could be used for extraction or edibles. If this happened even in a year into legalization and licensing, we'd have a much better sense of the impact because we would know what farms were impacted, we know the size of the farms, we know how much we produced the previous year, Raymond said. We do not have any of this pre-data, so it's really tough because we're at a point in our regulatory system where we don't have a timeline or a history of regulated cannabis, she added. This is kind of like year zero. Eric Pearson, the CEO of Spark, a San Francisco area medical cannabis retail chain that lost its Sonoma County farm in the Nuns fire, is confident that cannabis farmers who did lose everything will rebound, in large part because they've learned from long years in the black and gray markets to be resilient. It's nothing new to us, frankly, and I don't think it's anything new to the industry. Having losses like this, farmers are used to losing everything, primarily to law enforcement, Pearson said. We are a tenacious bunch.